All of us earn money, but the point is, we cannot keep all the money that we have earned. We spend that for food, clothes, and shelter. Still, we cannot keep the remaining money with us because there are debts to repay. If you go and ask a financial guru, how can I unlock my financial freedom? They might ask you to build wealth and become rich. How can you build wealth? How can you achieve financial freedom? In my opinion, the very first step to achieve financial freedom is to become debt free. Reducing personal debts can help you to improve well being and increase financial freedom. Debts are real leakages that stop you from achieving financial freedom. A prisoner of debt can only dream about freedom, they cannot get freedom. People with high level of debts are most likely to face challenges and difficulties in building wealth and achieving financial freedom. Talking about debt, one of my childhood friend Ajay comes to my mind. He works for a shipping agency. He always grumbles about his job. This is what he does every day. He goes to the harbor in the morning. He stays there the entire day. He takes down what is coming in from the ship and what is going out in the ship. At the end of the day, he must go to his office to submit the report. Ajay hates this mundane job. He always tells Parni, what kind of job is this? I don't know what I am doing. I studied engineering, I am doing this. This is not even relevant to what I studied. I feel like leaving this job. After these many complaints, do you know what? He still goes to the job. And do you know why? Because of the commitment. Not the commitment towards the job, but the commitment towards the loans he has taken. Ajay uses 4 credit cards. His monthly income is only enough to pay the housing loan, car loan, and fund his children's education. He uses his credit cards and also take loans to cover the other monthly expenses. The burden of using multiple credit cards kept increasing. Ajay found himself in a deep debt trap. He started experiencing stress, anxiety, and sleepless nights. Despite his best efforts to manage the debt situation, he struggled to keep up with his ever-increasing financial obligations. His small loans grew like a huge snake to engulf him. The mountaining debt became the constant source of worry, making it difficult for Ajay to envision a debt-free future and achieve financial freedom. Fortunately, Ajay decided to take help. So he reached out to financial advisors who helped him to create a realistic budget, negotiate with lenders for lower interest rates, and even develop a repayment plan. Ajay started practicing frugal living habits and started exploring opportunities to explore and increase his income. With commitment and discipline, Ajay was able to regain control over his finances. In about 3 years of time, he was able to clear all his debts. He was able to rebuild his credit score, regain financial stability, and experience a newfound sense of freedom. Ajay's story highlights the struggles, his emotional impact of debt, and the transformative power of overcoming debt. I was more like Ajay. I was in school doing my higher secondary. My father's printing press business did not do well. The income from the business was only enough to pay the rent, electricity, salary, and other essentials. To run the family and to run the business, my father started borrowing money. Taking one loan to repay another, or closing one loan and starting a new loan became a routine. Debts piled up. Within a year, entire family landed in a huge financial crisis. People started knocking our doors, almost every day asking for money. Our family spent sleepless nights. I grew up, graduated, and then took up multiple employments. I spent the prime phase of my career working to repay the loans. I was always occupied with the thoughts about the loans to be repaid, coming out of debt as soon as possible, and spending my salary as I like. I never had a chance to think about my future, my career, and my goals. It took 10 years, a decade, to clear all the debts. What a relief it was. No more visitors asking for money. No more phone calls asking for dues. Most importantly, the entire salary will be with me and I can spend as I wish. I gained that freedom. How did I do that? How did that happen? How did I reduce my loans? I followed 3 techniques. First and foremost is a simple and straightforward method. I kept paying my monthly installments regularly without any break, and over a period of time, I was able to come out of the debt. Two, for some of the high interest loans, I started paying something extra. For example, if my loan amount is 5,000, then I started paying 5,000 plus 500. I looked out for all possible ways to save that extra 500. By paying something extra, I was able to come out of the debt quicker. Third technique is to restructure my debts. When I was deeply caught in debt, I proposed the bankers to restructure my debt. In the proposal, I asked them for interest waivers, reduced monthly installments, and even a longer repayment period. Many banks and financial institutions were kind enough to accept my restructure proposal because I demonstrated a strong willingness and commitment to repay. That gave me time to breathe and much needed relief in my battle towards getting rid of debt. These are the three techniques that I followed to reduce loans. After reducing loans, I became debt free and I moved to a new zone. I was very conscious to stay away from loans, but I confess that was not quite easy. There came several situations in my life that pushed me towards taking loans. I followed three strategies to stay away from loans and remain debt free. One, I created a budget which gave me a clear view of how much money is coming in and how much money is going out every month. This helped me big time to understand how much money is required every month, allowing me to plan for it, avoid overspending, and end up taking loans. Two, I learned that people take loans for emergency expenses. People use credit cards for their emergency expenses. To avoid that, I started building an emergency fund. Today, 6 months of my expense is parked in an emergency fund. I no longer look for a credit card. I no longer look for a loan for any emergency expenses. Third, the third strategy is that I completely changed my behavior and mindset toward loans. I never thought of relying on loans for my big ticket expenses, be it children education, be it down payment for a housing loan, buying a car, festivals, celebrations, vacations. I never thought of relying on loans for these. Instead, I planned for that in advance and started saving money. Now, some of you might think, I want to buy a house. My savings will not be enough to buy the house. Should I not take a loan? How will I buy a house or buy any other asset for that matter without taking a loan? Let me tell you, it's okay to take loans to build assets, to start a business, or to fund higher education. At the same time, it's not okay to take loans to buy a mobile phone, to buy home appliances, to buy a car, to go for a vacation. In other words, if you're taking loans for items that will increase in value, then you can take loans. If you're taking loans for items that will decrease in value, then you should not. People take loans thinking that their future income will help to repay. What if there is no income in the future? Job cut, recession, layoff, these are no longer new terms for us. When there is a hole, how much ever you put, you will never be able to fill. A leaky boat cannot take you to the shore. To unlock financial freedom, follow the tips that I shared today. Repay, prepay, restructure to reduce your loans. And also say no to loans to remain debt-free. Remember, the very first step to achieve financial freedom is to become debt-free. Thank you.